And I've also been around the world enough to know, I've been in places where farmers use water buffaloes to plow their fields, and their field and their home is in a very remote place, and their families live in bamboo huts that you can see through. Bamboo huts. And there may be 7 or 8 bamboo huts on a piece of property, and there may be one water pump in the middle there that services everyone. And I've noticed in those there that there are dogs, pet dogs and cats, and children laughing, people, they're playing their games, and mothers and grandmothers and people are doing laundry by hand. And I'm not talking about around Brendan's family area, although we've seen that. I'm talking about in other places too. But back to the farmer, I remember riding a jeepney, watching a farmer just out there, just plowing his farm. And the thing is, his field was alive with, I think it was corn. It all looked very like a healthy crop of corn to me, but I'm like, that farmer has probably been doing that season after season after season after season, growing whatever, and he probably knows as much about raising those crops as anybody does on earth, Who am I to say that he should adopt, that he should buy a tractor, and that he should, modernize everything about his home and his field? Who am I to say that would make him happier? And who am I to say that these people that are living in these bamboo houses, that they should make different kinds of houses so that they'd be happier? They look happy. Oh, me. But, and then when you throw in the various shades, the various sects of Christianity into the mix, or religious elements into the mix, it makes you realize, or it did me, people think different, and understanding is not always easy to achieve. And it's probably not a good idea for me to assume that it's my place to go into that area and try to westernize them or try to convert them to my way of thinking, whatever. So I am not into a bullying kind of Christianity. I believe that the gospel is better preached through our living and through leadership, leading by example, than through all this preaching and commercialized, materialistic. In America, Christianity does seem to be highly materialistic. I'm not here to say who is a Christian and who isn't, but I find it does a bit repulsive to me, but that's me anyway. But so much for that. I don't know how much time I've been on this and how I'll break this down. I'm not sure how it's going to work out in terms of video segments. We'll see. But the next thing I want to hit on, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I made an announcement not long ago that Brendan and I were no longer together. And I didn't get into any explanations about that. And my reason for that is I did not want to say anything that would in any way put me on an upper moral ground or lower moral ground, or any way that would seem bad-mouthing of Brendan or bad-mouthing of me. I didn't want to get into that. And it's kind of a policy of mine. I'm not saying that I'm always consistent with this, but kind of a policy of mine not to put words into someone else's mouth, you know, not to try to tell you what they said, and also not to put thoughts into their head. You know, I will never say, well, he was thinking blah blah blah, or you must be thinking blah blah blah, or you know, or to try to, or I could say you're angry when I really don't know you're angry. You know, I try to avoid projecting what I think, you know, putting emotions into you, or putting thoughts into your head and putting words into your mouth. I try to avoid all of that. And I also try to avoid talking about people when they're not present to speak for themselves. Yeah, I mean, and you know, it doesn't matter what the status of our relationship is. The fact is, he and I are both human beings on this planet, and we're both on a journey. We're both becoming what we can become. We're both exploring. We are both engaged in living life here on earth as best as we can. Yeah, and you know, I don't think it's my place to try to, it's not my place to judge, and I certainly wouldn't think kindly of people who, you know, who whine about other people, always casting blame on other people, whatever. You know, I don't want to make Brendan look bad. I don't want to make him look good. I don't want to make me look bad. Don't want to make me look good. None of that. So really all I want to say about that is that there are some things you'll just have to ask Brendan about if you want to know what he thinks, his thoughts, and, you know, his perspective. You just have to talk to him about it. And yeah. And the same thing was true with my previous relationship. I have never spoken about what it was that brought that about. All I did was announce it and pretty much let it be what it is. And it's still, you know, there are things you'll just have to ask him if you want to know. Things are, I'm just not going to gossip about. But I do want to say a few things kind of relevant to all of that.